I just found an incredibly disruptive, unique, high-risk, high-reward stock. The company is called MindMed. MindMed is traded in the United States under the ticker symbol MMEDF and trades on the Canadian exchange NEO under the symbol MMED. MindMed is a leading psychedelic medicine biotech company. They seek to treat and cure mental illness like anxiety, depression, addiction, and ADHD through microdoses of psychedelic drugs. Now, why this is so fascinating to me is that this has essentially remained an untapped market since 1970, around the time when all these psychedelic substances like LSD were becoming listed as Schedule 1, rendering them illegal in the United States. In fact, according to the investor desk on MindMed's website, the company estimates that there is a $100 billion global total addressable market for psychedelic medicines. And possibly the biggest study that MindMed is doing right now is research into microdosing LSD for the treatment of anxiety and ADHD, where alternatively you would find stimulant-based medications like Adderall and Concerta, which are not uncommon in the United States. So the CEO is a guy named J.R. Ran, who claims his reason for starting MindMed was to create the antibiotic of addiction, not putting people on pills for the rest of their life, but actually solving mental illness on a deep and fundamental level. Okay, so far this company checks a lot of boxes for me. It seems like their vision is pretty good, and they have a really unique disruptive idea. Let's keep going. So a notable investor that they have backing them is Kevin O'Leary, which a lot of people might know from Shark Tank. During an interview with the CEO J.R. Ran, Kevin laid out some really interesting insights when comparing this company to the marijuana sector. So we need to look at it like this. Even though marijuana stocks are really hot right now and high hopes of federal legalization, Kevin is claiming that he never invested in any of them because of the association with recreational use, which carries risk and stigma for institutional investors. Kevin says that institutional money does not want the taint of cannabis in their indexes. Being that he gets to hang out with all the billionaire investors of the world, he claims that institutional money is very interested in psychedelic medicine, as this sector has the nice safety net of being strictly for medicinal use and not recreation. So let's look at some other key points of MindMed. Currently, they're seeking to uplist to the NASDAQ. And what's interesting about this company is that it touches the biotech, the pharmaceuticals, and the healthcare industry, kind of all wrapped up into one. So I think it'd be interesting to look at this as a sort of once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to participate in a brand new category of medicine that we're not really seeing too much of. This company also has diversification of outcome through the myriad of clinical trials they have, meaning their eggs aren't all in one basket, which looks really good for investors. They are assembling a portfolio of different medicines with distinct purposes to spread out the risk of potential failed clinical trials, which is really smart. So I'll give you guys an example. They're not just testing LSD for the treatment in ADHD. They're exploring the creation of medicines using psilocybin, LSD, MDMA, DMT, and even ibogaine derivatives for mental illnesses like depression, addiction, and potentially much more in the future. Now, a couple things to keep in mind about this company. 1. They have no revenue yet. They are not profitable. 2. For therapeutics to be legally given to patients who are in their therapy programs, they not only need FDA approval, which can take years, but they also need DEA approval as well, due to the illicit nature of these substances on a federal level. And 3, this is without a doubt a controversial company for many people. Some are going to have a hard time separating the concept of recreational drug use from actual medication that isolates and utilizes certain psychoactive compounds for therapy. Once isolated and dosed properly, I personally see a lot of potential here. And lastly, 3 potential catalysts that we should be looking out for when it comes to MindMed. MindMed currently has multiple FDA-approved trials, which is great, but it'll be important to see if they can get the final seal of approval from the FDA for their final LSD product for therapeutic use. And secondly, like I mentioned, they have filed to get uplisted to the NASDAQ, so their inclusion might occur sometime this year. And the last catalyst we want to be looking out for, MindMed could potentially be partnering with a larger healthcare or pharmaceutical company. According to the CEO, MindMed has already gotten offers from various companies, but are waiting for the right opportunity. Think Johnson & Johnson. Just throwing it out there. And of course, to be clear, there is nothing certain right now about MindMed's future as a company or as an investment. It's still an early stage biotech after all. I have not invested in them yet, but I'm looking to very, very soon. It's not every day you come across companies like this. Thanks for listening, everyone. Hope you found this information useful. Take care.